All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Suzanne Morley. I'm a Health Promotion Program Coordinator with the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging, or WIHA, and I'm glad to welcome you to our pop-up Falls Free Wisconsin webinar. If you're not familiar with WIHA, we're a nonprofit administrator of evidence-based healthy aging programs and practices throughout the state and nation. And then we also convene the Falls Free Wisconsin Coalition, which is a statewide collaborative to reduce falls as we age throughout the state. If you're interested in learning more about the coalition or getting more involved, I encourage you to check out our website at fallsfreewi.org and then fill out our membership form if you haven't already. This webinar is being recorded. I ask everyone to just remain on mute throughout the webinar until we get to our Q&A session. If you do have any questions for any of the speakers, feel free to drop those in the chat throughout. So I just encourage everyone to drop in your name, maybe where you're coming from, so we can kind of see where people are throughout the state. And then a little icebreaker question: what entices you to attend a community program? So I think what entices me to attend a program, I love going to community events and different things like that. I would say, I don't know. I wrote this question and I'm kind of having a hard time answering it. The benefits to my health and how it's gonna, maybe encourage me to try a new thing or have some fun. I think fun is a really important part of it. It was on my 2025 bingo card to try a kickboxing class, and I did that earlier this year, and it was just fun. I'm seeing some come in now. I'm just going to read through a couple. I see a topic that you're interested in. Yes, definitely needs to be interesting. The topic, the subject matter, checking out a new venue. Yep, quite fun. Curious to learn how other people do what they do, learning about people and new skills, like attending community programs with live music. Yep, too. What entices you with someone that you know is attending as well. Yeah, it's kind of hard to go to new things by yourself sometimes. And I think we see that in the people that we serve as well. If it's an interesting topic and if friends join, and snacks are a bonus. I agree. Well, thanks everyone. Feel free to keep putting those in the chat. And I'm just going to go through our agenda briefly. We have some different programs that we're spotlighting. So we'll start with Ballroom Basics for Balance. We'll go over to Brown County's Feet First presentation. We'll talk about bingo size, stepping up your nutrition, and then stepping on Empezando Fuerte. So again, feel free to drop questions in the chat throughout, but there is time at the end for Q&A, and then I'll just wrap up with some Falls Free Wisconsin Coalition updates. Now I'm going to turn it over now to Susan Frickin, who is going to talk about Ballroom Basics for Balance. So Susan, feel free to share a little bit more about yourself and then talk all about Ballroom Basics.
Hello, thank you for having me. First of all, I am always excited to talk about Ballroom Basics for Balance. We are an evidence-informed program that uses dance as a way to help people move better and have a really fun time, hopefully improving their balance and increasing their falls resiliency. We started out 12 years ago here in Madison, Wisconsin. We are now in many other places, most newly in Monroe. We've got classes in Waukesha, they've been one of our longest running classes, and they just expanded more last year. We also have classes in Grafton and West Bend, all around Dane County in different places, Fitchburg and Middleton and Monona. And we also have virtual classes, so anybody can join from anywhere. I do an overwinter class, January and February. So our website will be linked in the document that comes out after the presentation today. So please check out everything. We've got videos on there that kind of explain and show. We like images and pictures. And then we've got our trainings coming up. We just conducted a training in Monroe with a bunch of new instructors. And we are always looking for volunteers as well as people who might want to learn a little more of our curriculum. We make it fun, and we also, it's not rigid. It fits you and your style and maybe the people who are in your community. So for example, and by the way, I forgot to say, I'm going to take a little tangent. Get ready to stand up and move because this is going to be participatory. So make sure you clear some space. I'm going to say a few more words. So get ready to move. But our trainings are for anybody who wants to take them. We do offer a certification to become an instructor, and we are with you every step of the way. And we help you make it yours. We help you with everything from the back end. In other words, like, oh, do I need insurance? And what kind of music should I play? And what, the nuts and bolts pieces of it, to, just getting creative and the creative side of things. We do lean heavily on research. We're always updating our research and finding out what is good and what works and employing that in our classes. We've got about 12 active certified instructors at this point, but plenty more people who have also trained with us, who take the curriculum and weave it into their everyday life. So if you're a therapist, you're a dance instructor, you're a fitness instructor, you work in health in any way with seniors or otherwise, this we can help you kind of bring a little bit of fun movement to music to your practice, and hopefully increase people's cognitive and physical well-being. And we have a couple rules right off the bat. You don't have to do it right. You don't have to be touched. So there's no partnering involved unless you want to. We do it for a challenge or to play, but it's never required. And no experience is required. So we have a laugh every once in a while about people not doing it right. And I goof up as an instructor every once in a while and tell people I'm just practicing the principle of if you're moving, you're doing it right. So I'd love for you to join me and stand up if you can. I'd just love to demonstrate. I like to show what we do rather than only tell. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little merengue today. If you've ever done merengue, it's a Latin dance. Latin dances, instead of smooth dances in the ballroom world, are more down into the ground and rhythmic. They don't travel as much and they're less smooth. We do ballroom dances in our class. We do folk dances. We do tap dance. We do jazz, whatever the instructor likes to do. And we help you do that. So, and we have lots of practice videos on our website. So if you want to pull one up and play it in your class or try it at home, please do. And I'd love to hear from you. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have you start stepping with your left foot. We're just going to step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're halfway there. And if you say it out loud, it might help. So when we step in our Latin dance, I'm going to show you from the side. We're going to step toe ball heel, toe ball heel, toe ball heel, toe ball heel, if you can, if it doesn't hurt your feet. If you want to do this in a chair because you can't stand up, please do. If you want to do it with support, get near something that's sturdy and give yourself a little proprioceptive input to help your body understand where it is in space so that it's safe. But really focus on walking through those feet and popping your knees forward instead of doing the UW marching band, which you can. We don't care. We just want you to move. But if you want to get that little Latin flair, if you pop your knees forward and roll through your feet so you're lifting your heels, and put your hands on your pelvis, you can start to feel that little Cuban hip motion. And that's where you get the hip movement from. And that strengthens our side hips, strengthens our back hips, our thighs, ankles, and feet, which are the first line of defense when we lose our balance. And as many of us know, strong legs also help us recover if we lose our balance. So dancing is great for this. And dancing to music is awesome. I did not cue up music today just because of time. I just wanted to move with you. So let's do a merengue together. I'm going to count it out. Here we go. Left side is the leader side in ballroom. We're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where it gets interesting. 6, 7, go left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and use your arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn in a circle. Now go slowly or quickly as you like to do again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now a little flare. Bring some arm movement into it and some self-expression. In our class, we like to have people kind of free-form it so they feel like they're moving the way they want to. Keep moving. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How did that go? That was pretty simple. But merengue is a fantastic dance. It's a great dance to start with because really it's counting to 8 or 4. So any music you can do it to is great. You can find a merengue tune online, but honestly, you could do it to pop music, which is super cool. So keep doing that. How much time do I have, Suzanne?
You have a couple minutes left.
Let's go for waltz. We're going to do some waltzing. We're not going to do the complicated waltzing, but I want to introduce you to a smooth dance. Why we like dance is lots of the research shows that music makes the brain work differently. So moving to music has a special quality and it helps. And many of you may know that music really goes along with memory, and the hippocampus is part of memory. And it's been shown that it expands and it can actually grow in older people. Yay! When it's challenged, like what we're doing. So if you've ever waltzed, you know the song, the music rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can't do waltz to music that doesn't have that count. I mean, you can, but it's better if you find the rhythm. So let's do waltz, and waltz is a little bit different. So I want you to reach your heel forward. We're going to go heel, toe, instead of toe, heel. So just walk around your space for 1 second. Heel, toe, and find that nice quiet glide, almost like you're skating or skiing. All right, and if you're on the wall or on your chair, just kind of go forward a couple steps. When we go backward in waltz, which we won't do today, we go toe, heel, but we go quietly. All right, so waltz is 1, 2, 3. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go forward and backward. I'll stand a little diagonally so you can see, and you pick a foot, don't care which one. We're going to reach forward and we're going to go 1 and then in place. 2, 3. Go backward. 1, 2, 3. We are going backward. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Now with waltz, how we get that sinuous movement and style and feeling, that smoothness, is first of all, just think of it, feel it, and bring it into your body. And then the second thing we do is we go down on the 1. So 1, 2, 3. Go down, 2, 3, and down, 2, 3, and then we can go up on the 2, 3. If you want down, up, down, and tippy toe, or towards your tippy toe, and down and squeeze it up. So this is waltzing. Waltzing is wonderful because if you work in this universe, toes up helps us clear catching our toes on the ground. Going up on our toes, or at least going toward up on our toes, strengthens our calves, and that's all built right into the waltz. So we love dance because it's just another way, it's a different way, it's a fun way to move in a way that's really beneficial to our brains, our bodies, falls resiliency, fun, socialization, you name it. Thank you for having me, and I hope you can dance with us soon.
Thank you so much, Susan. I definitely think that was definitely met the qualification of fun. Definitely turn my camera off, and I say some others did too, because nobody needs to see me practicing that at this point. No rhythm here whatsoever, but I can definitely appreciate how your participants have fun, and I love how you explain the different body movements and how that relates to strength and balance. Thanks, Susan. Michelle, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, wonderful.
I do see your presenter notes, though. Not that I don't know if that necessarily matters for this.
Nope, we don't need to do that. Hold on 1 second. Let's try that again. How about now? Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. Not in presentation mode yet.
Try it again. Oh, still got the slides. Darn it. I can't see. My computer is not cooperating at the present time. I know I
I'm gonna
sent it to you.
steal screen share from you.
That'll work. You can progress it forward for me. That'll be just fine. Thank you. Okay. You got it?
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so my name is Michelle Erdman. I work for the Brown County ADRC. I know that some of you on this call today may have seen this presentation because I have shared it with some folks, but I'm here to talk about a tool that our Brown County Coalition utilizes as one of our pieces that we take out into the community for education on falls prevention. This particular PowerPoint, we share responsibility in our coalition for going out into the community and providing this presentation. It's a 1-hour presentation typically. Just in the last year, we have gone from 4 people going out from the coalition to be able to use this presentation to double that. We're over 8 people now. Excuse me, that utilize this presentation in the community. So we try to reach as many people as possible out in the community. We give this presentation within healthcare settings, at libraries, senior centers, here at the ADRC, churches. So we take the show on the road quite a bit. We typically like to have 2 coalition members do this presentation, share this presentation, because they each bring unique features to the presentation, but we also go solo on it as well. So I wanted to show you the components. I'm not going to cover every slide closely, but I would like to show you the components at least, so you can see some of the topics that we cover out in the community that we like to bring people to have more awareness with. So first, you can keep going, Suzanne, next slide. We first try to ask questions. Has anyone had a fall, and what's been your experience with it? Usually if you can ground folks in how they're feeling about the fall, what was their fall like, then a lot of the slides will have direct correlation, and you can bring that back to the conversation when people share. Next slide. So we talk a little bit about statistics. We talk about the key areas and the action that people can take. And really the whole feeling gist of this presentation is about empowering individuals to take action in their life. And so that we minimize any fear that folks might have, that there actually are things you can do to prevent falls. Next slide. So we go over the the ever popular statistic that we all know in the state that we're still #1, and that seems to be the case. But we try not to fixate too long on this because our intention is not to have people. They do have some hypotheses about why this is, and obviously a lot of you know some of it's weather, some of it is we are a fairly significant drinking state, still ranked as well. So there's a lot of reasons why. Next slide. You can keep going through that. So like I said, we talk about, this is where our averages are. We have to update this yet. We still are at 33 falls, just under 33 falls now, but this is where we're at for data locally. So next slide. I think data helps people also to understand, why it's happening. But then we get into the common things that people do. So we try to really ground folks in the daily activities that are going on and bring awareness to it. Because a lot of times that's very much what happens is people don't have the awareness to why they're falling. They're either distracted, not paying attention, have too much happening, too much in their hands, all those kinds of things. Next slide. Next one. So one of the topics we talk about is proper shoe wear. We also have a kit that we bring along with us for this talk, which has improper shoes, some clothing issues. We bring along assistive devices. So we have props that we bring along to this program. And then we always accompany that also by resources in the community too. Next slide. These are some of the topics, the clothing, that kind of thing. Then as far as falls, we do touch on, we don't go into a ton of detail with this, but we do cue people that they should be working with their physical therapists and their providers. But we do point out when folks are using canes and walkers incorrectly. So that's a real big one. I'm sure many of you in the populations you work with have seen that too. So we really try to bring that home, that this is increasing your risk of falls if you're not using this tool correctly. Next slide. We talk a lot about your exterior and your interior. So you saw a couple of suggestions there, using the railings appropriately, grab bars, you know, those kinds of things in bathrooms. Next slide. And then lighting. Lighting is key. So we tried to show tangible examples of what people can bring into their home to assist them. So next slide. Vision, we touch on that as well. We also bring up some things like outdoor decks. If you don't have a strip that actually shows the difference, your depth perception difference, and when your vision changes, that can increase falls. So we try to talk to people about all the stairs inside and outside their homes that could cause a fall, just from a vision standpoint where you can't see the difference where the next step is. Next one, throw rugs. We all know about that. Next slide. The other thing we talk about, dishwashers and kitchens. You might be moving around and unloading the dishwasher, not realizing that you didn't put the door back up. Or if you have a lovely critter at home, and we have many pets at home, right? If you're not paying attention, you can trip over your pet, that kind of thing. So it's important to pay attention to that. Next slide. And then we talk about outside, making sure you obviously know where you're walking, scanning ahead, look to see where you're moving, that kind of thing. Next one. This is another one we talk a lot about. I mean, I've had many presentations where people really are nodding their heads with this as it relates to frequent nighttime urination. So a lot of times what happens is people are rushing to go to the bathroom from that urgency piece of things. They don't have good lighting, there isn't a clear pathway, and that's when the falls happen. I mean, the bathroom nighttime urination is, you know, a big issue for older adults. And it's important that we talk to them about the things they can do. So some of our suggestions might include having a commode by the bed instead of the bathroom being so far away, and that will prevent the rushing. And then incontinence products for nighttime use. So we talk about the practical things that can help people to avoid those falls, because obviously doing those things are far better than falling and breaking a hip or having something else serious happen. Next slide. We also talk about fear. So we talk about the mental health piece of fear. So we really want people to understand they need to work through that fear, and they can empower themselves and be able to work on some things to prevent that fear, because that's a really powerful feature of falls if people are in a fear zone. So we do touch on that and talk about that as well. Next slide. And then we do a little bit, these next few slides, you can go through all of these, Suzanne. People can kind of see, stop there. Oh, sorry, go back. Medications, please. Yeah, but anyway, we do have some exercise handouts. We talk to people about movement and some things that they can do with exercises. We have lots of resources that we bring with this. So the handouts that support exercises at home, and a couple of key ones we provide to people. The next section with all these medications, we really like to bring awareness for medications, because it's a huge factor. It's a huge factor. Next slide. So we talk about all of these things. We also have handouts with this as well to help people know the right questions to ask their providers. Next slide, please. We have handouts that support this particular slide here. So we provide some cheat sheets that people can take into their provider to ask questions. And a couple of those bullet points, as you can see, make a difference. And then we do touch on the over-the-counter medications, because that's a big issue. You can see some of the cheat sheets that we have here. You can see the questions we ask providers, or ask participants to take to their provider. And next slide. All of those pieces are very helpful for people to feel empowered, like they can ask questions and they can get different answers. And just because they're on a medication, for example, for a long time, doesn't necessarily mean they would have to stay on the same one or the same dosage. And so it's another step to help people ask good questions when they're in their provider meetings. And then we talk about the medical conditions that create falls. Next slide. We try to cue people to really think about, how did it happen? How can you avoid it? How can you change it from happening? So we really want people to be introspective when we're giving the presentation, so they can think about how they could change their behavior the next time to avoid this from happening. Next slide. And then we talk about resources. So we provide some resources here, which some of you guys are well versed in, obviously. But and then we have a number of our community resources that the coalition provides. We bring a lot of the resources that all the players that sit on our coalition have as well. And then we talk about it and share. And then we talk about the different things our partnership and coalition are doing to get people empowered to join in additional programs. So one of the tools that our coalition has is a quarterly flyer that every quarter we list all the falls prevention programs that are happening in our community. So our customers can see it in one place. We have one place where folks can grab. So it's a high level overview, but the main thing is that we really try to touch on everything with our customers in this presentation, and that multiple coalition members go out and provide this for the community. Usually once or twice a month, we're out there providing this education in the community. So we want to reach as many people as possible.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle, for that overview of your Feet First program. And we're kind of doing a little speed dating here. So we're going to move on now to Anne with Manitowoc to talk about bingo size.
Hi there. Okay, so Bingo Size is an evidence-based health promotion program that combines the game of bingo and exercise and health education. So bingo is pretty big in Wisconsin, kind of like fish fries. So we found, and we're having pretty good success with it, that combining bingo and exercise, something fun and something they can learn, has really proven to be successful. So we are into our 7th program right now, and we have 3 different facilitators at this point, which it doesn't matter really about your ability to exercise to become a facilitator, because the exercises start out pretty slow and low intense for 30 seconds, and you build your exercise up to 60 seconds. So they come in, they sit down, you roll, you educate them a little bit, then you roll a few balls of bingo, and then you do some exercise, and this goes on for an hour. So keeping aware of that, you do need to have prizes, because seniors love prizes and they love bingo. So that's really important. And we went through a couple of years of trying to figure out what kind of prizes really are fun and beneficial to seniors. So if anybody wants to ask us what kind of prizes we thought worked, we can share some of that with you. So they're going really well here, which is exciting. So let's talk about how you get trained. Well, there's a main facilitator training syllabus that has 5 different course objectives, and Suzanne has that information from Jason. And the first course objective is to introduction to physical activity and health education for older adults, understanding bingo size and its goals, preparing for your first workshop. Module 4 is conducting a bingo size session, and number 5 is post-workshop activities and long-term engagement. So it's an online course. You'll be asked to complete the quizzes and all the modules, and at the end of it, there's a final assessment, which gives you a score of 80% or more. And I'm sure a lot of you have taken these kinds of things online. So that's what you become to become a facilitator. And if you're interested in becoming a facilitator or having bingo size in your county, so I'm from Manitowoc County, the ADRC of the Lakeshore, you have to contact Christine Owens, and that's Christine at bingosize.com. And it is with a Z. It took me a while to get the Z in there. I always wanted to put an S in there. So what else can I tell you about it? Just the fact that I think there was a couple of learning curves for us, like what kind of prizes go, how to, manage your style of teaching. Are you a more aggressive style of teacher? Are you more flowing style of teacher? But it's all evidence-based, so you just follow the script, but we all have different approaches to teaching, right? So that's kind of fun. And I'm trying to think what else that might be helpful to you other than that. We've been offering the program since 2024 we started, and we do 2 a year, spring and fall. It depends on how many facilitators we have. We did sign up the senior center director to become a facilitator so she can hold her own right at the senior center, which you have a natural crowd. They don't get paid. We ask for a contribution. That's really all we do of $10, and if people want to contribute, but we don't charge for the class, and our facilitators don't get paid. They're volunteers, so we just log them as volunteer hours. Yeah, so bingo size has really turned out to be fun. People who are there for the bingo, but then they kind of like, okay, I'll exercise while I'm here. And it's a lot of times they're just starting with exercise too. So you'll see some real improvements. It's 10 weeks. It's 2 times a week, so it is a big commitment. So if you're going to do it, it's kind of like getting a puppy. You got the whole 10 weeks to get through. You got to keep it for the long haul. So 20 people is the max. You need a pretty big space because there are a lot of movements in the exercises, side to sides, turnarounds, but you do need some room for those kinds of activities. So you do need a bigger room, unless, of course, you only get a few to sign up. And make sure you don't call any wrong balls, because you know how that can be in bingo. And you just got to make sure you know what you're doing. So, any other questions?
I don't see any more questions in the chat right now, but Lori just put in that there are different modules of bingo size. There's exercise only, nutrition, falls prevention, and range of motion.
Yep, and we do, I think, exercise only, right? And bingo, yeah. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anne.
You're welcome.
We are going to move now to Angie, I believe. And I'll share my screen. Angie, you can take it away, introduce yourself, and stepping up your nutrition.
Great, thank you. I am not Pam Van Kampen, in case you didn't realize. Pam is not feeling well today, so I'm happy to pinch hit for her. I am familiar with the Stepping Up Your Nutrition class, so I'm happy to help out Pam whenever I can, but she has put in so much work into this program to make it successful in Wisconsin. So hopefully I do her justice. I do need to acknowledge Stepping Up Your Nutrition workshop was created by the Maintaining Active Citizens, or MAC, which is with the Living Well Center of Excellence in Maryland Department of Aging. The nutrition professionals who provided guidance, some through the Administration for Community Living. Pam has worked with them directly on different components and updating it in Wisconsin. And the support is also for this workshop is also provided by Abbott. So they have presented on this at several national conferences. So some of you may be familiar with this already, but next slide, please. So Stepping Up Your Nutrition really relates to fall prevention. Oftentimes you don't think of nutrition and fall prevention, but it talks about how nutrition affects falls, and it goes into more depth in that, why muscle matters, and as we age, how important it is to keep the muscle tone and how you do that through strength training, the importance of getting enough protein and fluid. I think oftentimes folks are taking lots of different medications, and if they're not hydrated, it can cause a lot of different issues, or they don't have enough protein in their system. And what you can do to eat better and feel better to improve your life. And then the highlight is the protein tasting break that they have at every session. Next slide. Overview of the class. It is a one-time class, so it's not high-level evidence-based in Wisconsin. However, you'll see in just a minute, it is a wonderful feeder class into some of those high-level evidence-based programs. Because it's only a one-time class, we don't see behavior change over time. So that's talking to the administrators. They said it will never be high-level evidence-based because it's just a one-time class. So it's 2 to 2.5 hours. The class is fun, interactive. and offered on a contribution basis if you're using any Older American Act funds. Can be done virtually or in person, which is really nice heading into the winter months. It's evidence informed, so you can use your Title C1, C2, so those are the nutrition dollars with the Older Americans Act. And then also Title 3B, which is supportive services. So you can use those funds as well to help implement the program. And the class counts as nutrition education under 3C for those of you in the Aging Network and entering into Peer Place. Some wonderful comments that have been collected. Ooh, can you go back one? Thank you. Through the years, a couple of years that they've been implementing in Wisconsin, the information was great and helped me understand why nutrition is important for muscle strength. The class was interesting and fun, very informative. And part of the program you'll see when I talk about the agenda is finding out their nutrition risk score. So they can have an idea of where they need to go, or if they're just reinforced that they're doing really well. A lot of folks are surprised by the need for more protein, and the program tends to see people learning things they've never learned before, which is really wonderful in just a 2-hour program. Real eye-opener, good, trustworthy information, and easy to understand and practical. And that was the intent of doing this program, where it wasn't going to overwhelm an older adult, but focus on a few things. And so the two things they really focus on throughout the class is protein and hydration. Next slide. And here you can see the class agenda. So pretty straightforward. There's a welcome and an overview. So a networking opportunity for folks to meet somebody new with some social connection, completion of forms. So that's where that nutrition risk assessment comes in. So as they're talking through the information during the class, they can really know what they need to hone in on. Then there's a 45-minute discussion and activities on nutrition. So talking through why hydration, why protein, and then again, the favorite part, the 15-minute protein tasting break. And this is really up to the facilitator of the class. I've heard everything from different types of yogurt. So older adults, when they go to the grocery store, or anyone when they go to the grocery store, I know in Woodman's, they have about 2 full aisles of different options of yogurt. So which yogurt is best for their protein intake and things like that, and reducing sugar. Energy balls are another one that I see, and feel free to drop those in the chat for some of you who may be already implementing it, your different protein break tasting ideas, but that's always a highlight. And then there's a nutrition risk activity, and then the 30-minute discussion on hydration and how that is related to falls, and then a wrap up. Next slide. So looking at the nutrition risk scores, the average score, and this is out of 252 participants who completed the nutrition risk survey, the average score was 45.8. So a score less than 50 is high risk. So that's pretty significant. Of a score 50 to 54 is moderate risk, and score 55 or higher is low risk. So we have a lot of folks that are entering the class that are right on that verge of the high risk. So, and then moderate was 20. So high, those who scored high were 63%, moderate 24%, and a low risk only 13%. So if you add up the kind of the moderate and high, you're over 80%, which is really significant. So definitely a need for the program. Next slide. And this is where I talked how referrals are made. So those that may be willing to come to a one-time 2-hour class is a little less intimidating than going to maybe a stepping on right off the bat, where it's, 7 weeks, 2 hours a time. So several referrals have been made into the Strong Bodies program. For those of you not familiar, that's a 11 to 12 week strength, balance, and flexibility program that tends to be ongoing. They'll take a break and then do it again. Same participants in the class, sometimes for over 20 years. So that's a really great social connection piece. And then 23 referrals into the Mind Over Matter, bladder and bowel incontinence program from WIHA, 22 referrals to dietitians, living well with chronic conditions, healthy living with chronic pain, congregate dining centers, healthcare providers, healthy living with diabetes, and walk with ease. So really a wide reach into some of those existing strength training programs throughout the state. And I think there is, how am I doing on time, Suzanne?
A couple more minutes.
Okay. I'll just talk about this real briefly. Shannon Gabriel from the ADR or AAA in Dane County has also done a lot of work around stepping up your nutrition. And it's actually part of their 2025 to 27 aging plan goal. So their problem that they identified is 50% of participants attending the Stepping Up Your Nutrition and 50% of their senior nutrition dining programs were found at risk. So their solution was to create awareness to add the Stepping Up Your Nutrition program to the tail end of the Stepping On program. Is it the tail end or the beginning, Susan? Do you remember? One or the other?
It's at
the end. Thank you, Ashley Hillman. Yes, so it's at the end, which is a great tie-in as well. Next slide. So if you're interested in becoming a Stepping Up Your Nutrition leader, it's very easy to become one, which is fabulous. And this is where Shannon and Pam have put in a lot of work. So there's a link there where you go to the GWAR external SharePoint, and then it gives you some directions. But basically, you read through the required leader information, and then one of the interns created a mock class. So you are able to watch kind of what the mock class should look like as you implement it. So that you have the training module, you can watch the video. And then any questions related to stepping up your nutrition at all, Pam Van Kampen would love to help you become that. So all of her information is on the slide, and I will turn it back over to Suzanne.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Angie. And I'll be sharing all of these resources after. You'll have links for everything. I think I've never seen that data before. I just want to go back to that. That's pretty shocking that the majority of people screened at either high or moderate risk. So thank you for sharing that. We're going to wrap up with just briefly talking. I know many of you are familiar with Stepping On, but I'm just going to give a brief overview of the Stepping On program that we have disseminates throughout the state and nation. So it's a high-level evidence-based falls prevention program. It's multifactorial, and it covers many of the causes of falls, balance and strength, vision, home environment, medications, and more. So it can be delivered both virtually and in person, though in person is preferred. And it's 2 hours every week for 7 weeks. There are some additional requirements for virtual workshops. Stepping On is conducted by 2 trained facilitators, or 1 trained facilitator and 1 peer facilitator. So peer facilitator is, of the target population, they're an older adult. Typically, they've gone through the Stepping On program before. There are a number of guest experts that are required to be a part of the program as well, that teach the balance and strength exercises, that talk about medications, vision, community safety, and other topics. And it's designed for older adults that are community dwelling, so they live independently. They don't need a walker indoors. It's okay if they use one outdoors. It's okay if they use a cane, but they should also be without a diagnosed cognitive impairment. So this is just a very brief overview of the week-by-week program. So session 1 really is about building trust and getting the participants to know each other, build trust with each other and with the facilitators. And then they learn the balance and strength exercises right off the bat and talk a lot about fall risk appraisal, so sharing fall stories. Session 2, talking a little bit more about exercise and moving about safely, and then practicing getting up from a fall and learning about that. Session 3 is all about home fall hazards. So we talk about all of the ins and outs throughout the home, bathrooms, kitchen, indoors, outdoors, and even talking about pets. Session 4, we talk about vision and footwear. Session 5, medications, sleep, calcium and vitamin D, bone health, all sorts of things are wrapped into session 5. Session 6 is about travel and inclement weather. Session 7, community safety and kind of keeping the momentum moving past the program so that they're attending other community exercise programs or they're talking to their healthcare provider. Just kind of having that discussion about how they're going to keep that momentum going. So it is, like Angie said, stepping up your nutrition is just that one-time program. Stepping on is the 7 weeks. So it is a behavior change program. That is the goal of it. And some of the outcomes that we've seen, so from the research it shows a 31% reduction in falls, increased self-efficacy for behavior change. So we talk a lot about the fear of falling, and it maintains confidence in the ability to avoid falls. Participants adhere to the exercises, they adhere to the home visit recommendations. They're more likely to practice that heel-toe walking and scanning ahead for hazards. And then they're also more likely to initiate a vision assessment and less likely to take a psychotropic drug. There's also a reduction in hospital readmissions. And then there's, of course, healthcare cost savings. Since individuals aren't falling, they're not getting injured. We're averting costs to emergency departments and hospitalizations. So if you're interested in becoming a facilitator, we do have some requirements. This should be a current or retired healthcare professional, a social worker, someone in the aging network, a health educator or fitness expert with some knowledge of falls prevention, have some experience working with older adults, the ability to demonstrate exercises and modify and advance exercises, and then get trained in the 3-day virtual or in-person training. So if you're interested in becoming a Stepping On facilitator, you can always just reach out to me. I'll drop some links in the follow-up email about where we have information on becoming a facilitator as well. We have 4 virtual trainings set up for 2026 for Stepping On, starting in February. And then just a little bit about Pasando Fuerte. So Pasando Fuerte is a culturally and linguistically adapted version of the Stepping On program. So it was adapted to not only fit the needs of Hispanic and Latino older adults, but then also the language translation, but it covers the same information as Stepping On, and it's coordinated in the same way. So there are a few differences, which I'll just share about. It is 8-week program instead of 7 weeks, so there is an additional week. There's just some small variances in the weekly overview with the addition of the 8th week there. Stepping On and Pasando Fuerte both do require a 3-month booster session. Outcomes that are seen are similar to the Stepping On program as well. And then facilitator requirements, excuse me. Are the same as Stepping On, with the addition that community health workers or others that work with Hispanic and Latino older adults would it fit to be a program facilitator. And then they must, of course, be fluent in Spanish. And I'm going to hopefully stop talking here real soon. That there are some fees required to get trained as a facilitator. Which you can see on the screen here, and this will be sent out after. It's also on our website. There's also some additional program fees that you should take into consideration as well. Okay. So any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I hope this kind of gives you an overview of some different programs that you might be able to implement in your community. It's a kind of a wide variety from ballroom dancing to more of those educational pieces to nutrition to bingo. There's also additional programs that you can find on our website, and it's linked there on the screen. It'll be sent out after. If you haven't looked through our website, we have a whole slew of different programs, from exercise programs to falls prevention programs, different initiatives like doing a Falls Prevention Awareness Month event, or it's different things like Mugs for Rugs. Just looking at kind of what fits your community, what population you're serving, and maybe mixing in a little variety in there too. Are there any questions for any of the speakers before I give a quick fall through from Coalition update? I do have a couple questions myself. I'll kind of get the ball rolling if I can talk. Michelle, I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Okay, I don't see the question on my end, Suzanne. Wait, there we go. Oh, yes. Yeah, I forgot to mention, yeah, when we do this program just recently, a few months ago, we had a request by one of our resource centers for immigrants. And it is a resource center for Somalian refugees, Afghan refugees, and Ukrainian refugees. And I had the opportunity to go out and present with one of their translators. And so I used that exact presentation and just made some adjustments accordingly. And it worked out just fine, actually, to be able to take this in English and work with one of their translators. You had to slow down a little bit, but they had the same questions, same concerns. It really wasn't different, bridging over two different cultures in two different countries. It was kind of the same concepts, and they were very interested about the medication section as well. That was a big deal for them too. They wanted to make sure they understood what they could talk to their doctors about and that kind of thing. And then I did go ahead and just find some translated materials in Ukrainian for falls. And that was helpful, at least, to have a couple things translated and some exercises that we did in Ukrainian. So that was helpful too. But a couple of tweaks, didn't take a lot. And it was really helpful to be able to talk to additional populations that normally you wouldn't think you'd go and present to.
Thanks, Michelle. I think you kind of mentioned this on the last slide of Feet First, but can you talk about, do you have like a sign-up sheet or anything for like Stepping On or Mind Over Matter?
Yeah, one of the things we do anytime we take out this educational presentation, I was alluding to that document. We have a quarterly flyer with all the programs. And so anyone in our community that is offering Bingo Size, Stepping On, Mind Over Matter, any of those programs, Mind Over Matter, not as much because we try to keep it in the falls realm because that's what people are interested in, but we actually bring that flyer. So we try to get people to do the next call to action to register for those classes.
Suzanne, I saw your question. Is there a cost for becoming a facilitator for stepping up your nutrition? I don't believe so. Ashley, do you know off the top of your head? Pam did not.
No, I don't. There hasn't been a cost to our facilitators in Dane County, so I'm assuming no. And it's pretty simple to be trained.
Great. Yep, no cost.
Any other questions at all? Okay, well, I'll be sure to share all the information about these programs. Just a brief update for Falls for Wisconsin. We do have our quarterly media campaign out on our website, and it is around the topic of medications. So we have a social media campaign that you can take and plug and play, press release, newsletter, article, and medication record sheet. And then we have a webinar coming up on December 9th for consumers. So it's open to anyone. And all that information will be shared out afterwards too. And I think I'm losing my voice, so I'm just going to wrap by thanking our sponsor at UW Health for supporting Falls Through Wisconsin. And a recording of the webinar will be sent out probably sometime later today with all the links and resources that were shared. So thank you to all the presenters for sharing about all of your wonderful programs that you're implementing. And I hope this is helpful for people to see the variety of things that they can do to help all of us prevent falls as we age. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.